Welcome to Tanisha's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri. Today we are talking about hair loss. When you have Sisterlocks or Microlocks or some other natural hairstyle, cut that alarm off, sorry about that. And what it feels like when you're losing hair or you're losing locks and you feel like you're doing every possible thing that you can do. What are some things that you can consider maybe that you haven't done? If this looks like a video that you want to stick around for, don't forget to share, like, broken down the video for the day. And I just got an alert for a review that Shan Calloway sent to the I Am Melanin Magic website, and I have to give her a shout out and I have to share with you guys what her experience has been. I believe she ordered this here, the I Am Melanin Magic Magical Hair Growth Serum. I believe that's the product she's talking about. If you're looking for a product that really works, you should add this to the cart and purchase it now. I'm a person that looks through reviews but doesn't like to leave one. However, this growth serum is amazing. Yeah, that's the product. I lost my edges due to medication and an emergency surgery. I spent a lot of money on different products to get them back over the years. And finally, after the first week, I noticed a hairline. It has been 3 weeks now and I can see more hair. I know all products don't work the same for everyone, but I'm so excited that I gave Melanin Magic a try. Thank you so much. I am Melanin Magic for my sisters and my new journey. Oh, and let me not forget the fast shipping. This definitely 5 stars when you're impatient like I am. Y'all know when you send in these orders, I get them out the same day. Only in the last 2 weeks I've been a little lazy. I wait till the next day because I was going back and forth because I live right down the street. It's within walking distance where I am, right? And I need to get out. But yeah, so you get your order fast, but that's interesting. So that's my point. Like if your hair can regrow and you can notice some filling in, then your hair will grow. And that's what you want to establish. Can my hair grow after hair loss? Or even if my follicles are dead, because many of the ingredients in here are proven to assist with the regeneration of follicles. Okay, so just give it a try and maybe you'll have the luck that she did. Now on to the video.
If you are not using Melanin Magic Hair Oil, then what are you using?
Hi, I'm the creator of the I Am Melanin Magic Skin and Hair Care brand. The I Am Melanin Magic Hair Oil is our premier product. It is the leading high-end supplement for your mane.
It reduces breakage and promotes growth and can be used on all hair types and looks, from straightened hair and microlocks to wigs and protective styles. It's antifungal, antibacterial, and it's anti-funk, so you know you're protected.
It softens and conditions your hair, and it's anti-frizz too.
Hey guys, so I started using this oil called I Am Melanin Magic since February of this year, and check out the new growth. Like, it's insane. Not only did it help with my new growth, but it smells amazing too.
See the dramatic improvements Tanisha has made after not having hair around her edges for 3 years. Tanya's hair had been like this for almost 20 years, and while getting injections, her doctor said it was scarred and would never grow back. After 4 weeks of using I Am Melanin Magic, this is what she looked like. I Am Melanin Magic did this to Danette's hair after a short time. This is really all your hair needs. It's rich with antioxidants, loaded with growth-promoting ingredients. Look at the growth of my hair. It's amazing. The product speaks for itself. Order yours today and don't delay. Don't delay. Purchase yours today.
I am Melanin Magic,
And so are you.
Shout out to all of my beautiful, beautiful sisters out there. I love all of you. Shout out to you, shout out to you, shout out to you. Okay, so we know that this journey is not without danger. Just jokes. We know this journey is not a fail-proof journey. That it is one in which you must be vigilant. That you cannot continue to have luscious locks if you consider these luscious, all right? Look at your own hair, look at how beautiful it looks, look at how abundant it is, that this is not a free ride. This is not something that you get just because you decide to do Microlocks or that you have Sisterlocks. That during this journey, and sometimes unfortunately, the longer that you are in this journey, there are some things that are part of this journey that can become at risk or high risk rituals that we do that can actually jeopardize the overall health of our hair, compromise the integrity of our follicles, and create a situation whereby the very thing we sought to pursue, which was abundant hair, becomes something that becomes a fleeting memory, especially for some of you who end up having to cut your locks off or have lost so much hair that you're just at wit's end and you're not really sure what to do. As you know, this is something that we talk about on this channel a lot. This is something that was a motivation for me to begin to share some of the hair products with you all here on the channel, because I've done a lot to my locks over the years. Okay, I did not have perfect hair before locks, but I did a lot to my locks over the years, and my locks could have and should have been gone a long time ago when you consider some of the hazards. And by the way, if y'all have been keeping track with the videos and you saw the situation with the marrying of my locks by a new loctician that I tried because I moved into the country, I found more locks that were married. So I'm not a happy camper, but you might want to take a look at that video, because I think this next retightening is going to be one that I'm going to do on my own, maybe. But I have a new setup in my bathroom, okay, that is going to hopefully allow me to begin to take even greater control over my hair care journey. But anyway, the I Am Melanin Magic oils were kind of motivated by the way I've been able to maintain healthy hair and growth. My scalp is very healthy, y'all. My scalp, it shines. My hair has gotten thicker when I've had thinning or I've lost hair. This is the regimen that has helped me kind of bounce back. So I want to talk about some of the things that I've observed in this journey that I feel are also equally important, because it's not just what you do for your hair externally. There are also internal things that can play into hair loss. There are genetic things that can play into hair loss. But a lot of times, the huge elephant in the room that we don't talk about is the fact that the retightenings, the quality of them, and the locticians that you have sometimes can be negligent. Not all of them. There are a lot of great ones out there, but just like anything else, there are a lot of sorry ones out there as well. Or there are just ones out there who don't always put their best foot forward, or who don't have locks themselves and don't really understand some of the intricacies of the journey. There's a whole litany of different experiences that you can have with your lock journey. But the last experience that you want to have is one where you start losing locks, where your locks start thinning, and you aren't able to arrest the situation and investigate what is going on. If you remember nothing else that I tell you, remember that this journey is not going to be without pitfalls and obstacles and hardships, and that you at some point are going to encounter something with your locks that is going to call or send off an alarm. Ding, 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 ding. And you're going to need to start paying attention to the area of concern. Hopefully it's not multiple areas of concern, but you're going to have to start paying attention to the area of concern. You're going to have to isolate that area, and you're going to have to investigate and try some different things in that area to try to bring back the health of those locks and to regenerate new hair growth. And this is not something, beautiful sisters, that you can leave to your loctician. This is something they can aid you with. This is something that they can give you suggestions with, but this is not something that you can leave. We are not at the mercy of our lock consultants, and that is one of the things on this channel that I talk about a lot. We are not at the mercy of our locticians. You must be involved very actively and participate in what will become your own rescue if you start dealing with hair loss. So I want to give you some things to think about. First and foremost, look at your own dietary habits. Make sure you're getting enough water. Okay, you need to be drinking 3 quarts of water a day. Okay, I drink that every day, sometimes a little bit more. You need to be drinking that every day on a regular basis. You want to pay attention to the quality of the water that you're drinking. These are things that we hear and we know, but we still don't comply. And sometimes we expect our bodies to continue to bounce back, even though we don't give our bodies the best ingredients. So you want to be careful of that. You want to make sure you're eating, healthily. And if you're not, that you're taking supplements. Make sure you have enough sulfur in your diet. If you're dealing with hair loss, you need to be taking a sulfur supplement. Okay. you need to be taking sulfur flakes. I can't recommend a particular type of sulfur flake as long as you don't get the capsules. Deal with sulfur flakes. You need to be taking vitamins. You need to be making sure you're getting vitamin E, you're getting folic acid, making sure that you're getting enough biotin. You want to make sure that you're not getting, that you may in fact not have a biotin deficiency. These are things you can check with your doctor, okay? Barring the things that you can control internally, like what you eat, how much water you get, the levels of stress that you have, the other things that may be mitigating factors, such as your genome, your genetic heritage, and hormonal things, which sometimes can be controlled to an extent. Those are things, let me just speak to that. Those are things that you can kind of, for me, I don't like to focus on that too much, because a lot of times when people start losing locks, intuitively we kind of know, okay, my mom has a head full of hair, my sisters, my grandparents, both my grandmothers had a head full of hair. This is not genetic. Okay, we just don't have that pattern baldness, or we don't have, a lot of us just don't deal with the issues with alopecia and some of the other stuff that kind of are out of the sphere of control of our influence. I'm not really dealing with that, so I kind of feel like this has to do with my hair care regimen or something else that's going on. So we're talking about the things that you can control for, all right? First and foremost, you want to make sure that your scalp is clean. All right. Sometimes we can be going too long in between washes, and everything that we're doing in between washes is not allowing our scalp to breathe. We may be using products on our hair that are not necessarily good for our hair, or when we do wash, we may not be washing thoroughly. So you want to make sure that your scalp is clean. Okay. And what I'm talking about with that is if you're noticing that your scalp is very flaky and very itchy, you need to find the proper balance for your scalp, and you need to find something that is going to alleviate that. Why? Because an unhealthy scalp makes for problems. If your scalp is unhealthy and you have dandruff, if you have a flaky scalp, eventually that is going to harm your hair, and it's going to prevent growth in your hair. It's going to actually be a source of why you start losing hair. So your scalp needs to look healthy, which means that it needs to be exfoliated. It needs to be able to breathe. You need to make sure that you don't have a layer of gunk on your scalp. You need to make sure when you look at it, the scalp is clean and shiny, and it feels good and it looks good, and the hair that's coming out of it has a glow or sheen to it, all right? You should be able to see that in the light outside if you have trouble seeing it inside. That's something that's going to be super, super important. I have a list of things here. That's something that we tend to overlook when we're investigating some of the things we can do. If your scalp is not healthy, your hair is not going to be healthy. This is the first and foremost thing you need to investigate, because an itchy, flaky scalp will kill your follicles faster than anything else. And if you notice in areas where you have itchy, flaky scalp, you notice the hair is weaker there, it will come out from the scalp a lot faster. So definitely pay attention to the scalp health of your hair, your scalp health in general. Number two, thoroughly washing. I talked about this before in terms of buildup. When you wash your hair, you want to make sure that you are thoroughly washing it, because excessive buildup or anything that can smother your hair, for example, when you are using on a regular oils that are too heavy, they can smother your hair and actually kill your follicles. You want to make sure that anything you're using on your hair that's medicinal, including this is very, very effective. The Magical Hair Growth Serum. It has gotten a lot of women hair growth back. It is helping me thicken this little side of my hair that I just accepted all my life was just the way my hair was before I even got locks. But you have to make sure when you wash your hair, you wash the remnants of anything that may be on your hair out of your hair, and that you wash it thoroughly, okay? This does have 2 different types of castor oil in it. Although this is not a tremendously thick oil, you want to make sure, because everybody's needs are different. What your hair needs What your hair responds to is a very individual, unique thing. So making sure that you wash your hair thoroughly. The other reason why that's going to help is because if you don't wash your hair thoroughly, and you all remember this from the beginning of my journey, and y'all can see how long my hair is now. Take a look at how long my hair is. Okay, what was it, about 4, 5, 6 years ago, around this time of the year, I was going to cut my hair because it was just too heavy, and it was just getting to be too much. It was becoming much of a nuisance, and it was a lot shorter than it is now. That's because I was not washing my hair thoroughly, and literally everything that I was putting in it, although I was washing it, because you know I use Dr. Bronner's lavender shampoo, and I make a 3-part water, 1 part Dr. Bronner shampoo, and I put some other little things in it. That was on my hair, coating it, because it also already has some oils in it already. In addition to the essential oils, it has some fatty oils in it. Those things have weight. Whatever you're putting in your hair, this has weight. And at the time, the formula for the premium hair I Am Melanin Magic Oil did not have, it had heavier oils in it, because that's what I was using in my hair at the time. Okay, when you know better, you do better, right? And so as I began to substitute different oils and to change my hair wash routine, my hair became lighter, okay, which is the way our sister locks should feel. If they are feeling heavy, if they don't feel light like cotton, and when you do like this, you feel a pulling, you know that you probably have some buildup. And by the way, I'm getting ready to do my first it is going to be acidic, my first apple cider vinegar rinse, or I don't know if it's not going to be a rinse, but I'm going to leave that in my hair, and we're going to see what 10 years worth of stuff looks like, because I need that. So I'm expecting my hair to be even lighter. But your hair will be weighed down. This is 8 ounces. Okay, the bottle itself may weigh a couple of ounces, but this is 8 ounces. All right, when this is sprayed in your hair and the bottle is finished, you have the weight of this in your hair minus the bottle. If you're not washing your hair adequately, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's not just going to disappear into thin air, which means the product is in your hair. Now, if you all remember, that Loctician, that new one that I went to, wanted to begin to use pomade in my hair. You already know this is not someone that has Sisterlocks, because if you have Sisterlocks, you're not going to be putting pomade in your hair. I don't care how light it seems, it's going to leave a buildup. Anything that you're using is going to leave crumbs. You're going to know that it's in there. It's going to weigh your hair down. So it is important not to complicate that, because you're already picking up debris and lint and other things that you may tend to think are weightless, which when you look at the cumulative effect of those things is not as weightless, because you have a lot of other things pulling on your hair as well. So making sure you wash thoroughly. Everything is going to leave a trace, so you want to make sure that you take the time to thoroughly wash. Now, I wash my hair 3 times at a minimum. I make sure everything is out, okay? That's how I know too, whatever lint issues I used to have, I have a lot less of, because now that the color's not in there, I can see anything that is in my hair. It feels so much lighter. It does, y'all. They feel so much lighter, and as they get longer, that's going to be very, very important to have that lightweight, that feather-like feeling, or if you can't get that, at least something close to it. Because the lighter it feels, the less weight it's on your hair. The lighter it feels, the cleaner your hair probably is. Okay, so that's very important. The third thing, the third thing, because I'm kind of condensing, is pulling on your hair. Any excessive pulling on your hair. As these start to lengthen, that happens without you even realizing it. You don't have to have hair as long as mine to have it get caught on your pillows at night and you end up just pulling it, or when you put your bra on, or when you put your shirt on, it's not stuck there and you're having to pull it. When you're sitting on the car driving and it's being pulled. These are the little things that we take for granted, but these are the things we have to all get very serious about, because friction on the hair is trauma to the hair. Things that are pulling on the hair is very serious. You're making love to your husband or something else, and all you know is your hair is being pulled. My husband always had this habit of not being conscious of my hair, and he would be, you know, whether we were sleeping at night or watching a movie or something, his hair, he may pull my hair, and I had to, you know, like, I need you to stop right now, and I need you to feel this and have some situational awareness so that when your hand or something lands on my hair, you are paying attention and you know that, oh, I need to stop what I'm doing. Every single thing can potentially pull your hair, and all you need is for it to be pulling in these more sensitive areas. You have the fact that if you're in a colder climate, there's friction being created and your hair is being pulled by your coat, your collars on your dress shirts or whatever else it is that you may be wearing. These things are very, very important. When you're cleaning, okay, and your head is down on the floor and there's something gets stuck on your hair, or there's something you're cleaning under the bed and you get up and you realize one of your locks is around, somehow gotten wrapped around something, and you pull it. So any type of pulling on your hair, you want to eliminate as much as possible. If you're wearing shower caps in the summertime and you're wearing those thick shower caps that condense the amount of hair that you have and they pulling around the sides, you have to be careful about that. If you're putting on hats a lot, okay, headbands at the gym, you have to be careful about that. If you're wearing a style where your hair is constantly being pulled and you can feel it, it's too tight. When I pull my hair up, y'all, I can barely feel it. I'll pull it up like this, maybe 2 strings, and I'll pin it back. You have to be careful, okay? And if your hair is getting a little bit more utility and it's being pulled more, then you have to put nutrition in it to counteract the effects. You have to always be doing something to counteract everything that you're doing that's not healthy for your hair. So watch out for the pulling. 5 dietary concerns we talked about. You got to make sure that you're getting enough iron in your diet. You got to make sure you're getting enough zinc. You got to make sure you're getting enough sulfur. If you're not eating a lot of garlic, onions, eggs, and other things that have high levels of or decent levels of sulfur, you got to take a supplement. You have to. You cannot rely on the food that we get today. It has a fraction of the nutritional content than it used to have when we were growing up. And I'm 50. If you remember, your standard orange carried a certain amount of vitamin C. The standard orange today has 30% of the vitamin C that it used to have 20 years ago. So the quality of the food, or what it is we think that we're getting in terms of nutrition in our food, is nowhere near what it should be, and it's nowhere near what you likely think it is. So you need to be adding additional things to your diet that you know that are healthy. If it means you drink a greens drink every day, or you have a green salad, or you do something else to kind of make up for what you may not be able to do on a regular basis in terms of cooking in the kitchen or getting something that's balanced and healthy, supplement your diet. Supplement, 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 and please do not forget the water. When you're not getting enough water, your hair is not getting the moisture that it needs, it becomes more inflexible, it pops a lot easier, it breaks a lot easier, okay? Your skin also, everything on you is gonna be suffering. If you notice there's a link or there's a tie between the quality of your skin and what's going on with your hair, there it is. Okay, we have to look at this from a very holistic point of view. There's no easy, quick, fast solution for this. And that's the other thing I want to tell you. There's no quick solution for this. You have to investigate what works and what is not working. All right. I know if I start dealing with some issues up around the front of my head, it's got to either do with the fact that I'm doing the retightenings, or I'm doing them and then I'm going and having it done when Efraj does my hair, which means maybe I'm doing it too much, or maybe the locks that I asked her to thin out up here were too thin. I've got to look at that. I've got to investigate that. I have to take a very scientific approach and isolate a particular area of my hair that's giving me trouble and pay attention to the improvements that I make in between retightenings, okay? The other thing I want you to do, which is not on my list, but which is very important, is number 5, and that, I think it's number 5, and that is you have to investigate the problem area, okay? You have to mark it off. You may even have to take notes. This is serious business, y'all. Like I said, we got to participate in our own rescue, right? This is very serious. So you may have to pay attention to those locks. You may even need to. I have 2 locks over here that I have done this to, okay? Because I feel like they're thinner than they used to be. I feel like they're thinner. So the first thing you want to do is isolate the lock so that you can find it, so that you can monitor the same way you used to do when you had to do those science experiments in school, right? Okay, you want to look at the area where you're losing hair, especially if you are using either of these. You want to know that you're starting to see new hair be regenerated. Even if you're not using my oils, you want to pay attention and you want to establish that new hair is growing. Because if new hair is not growing, then you're in a worse situation than maybe you're thinking. If new hair is not being regenerated, then you have to take drastic, decisive action. If new hair is being generated, then you can expect to see after 2 to 3 retightenings some improvement in that situation. And although you may have another inch or two of hair growth, and then you can anticipate that what was thinning will look like a break in the lock. As you begin to thicken, you'll notice that thinning section starts to go down, but the other section starts to thicken. You will begin to be able to know that what you're doing is working. All right, so you have to investigate what is going on with your hair. You want to look at the area where there's hair loss, and you want to be able to ascertain if there's any type of new hair growth at all. Now, depending upon the severity of your situation, you may see fuzz, you may see hair sparsely starting to grow in, you may see nothing at all, okay? You have to do something to regenerate the hair growth. Hence some of the other things that I suggested, but also a light massage and paying attention to circulation in your hair would be something that would be in order that you need to do, that most of us don't. We lack the consistency and the discipline to do on a regular basis. Many people, even if they know that this will bring hair growth or bring some percentage of regrowth, no matter how bad their situation may be, for 80% of the people, still are failing in doing this at least 3 to 4 times a week. All right, so consistency is going to be super, super important. All right, matter of fact, no, I can't use this. Is a new one. This could become one of yours, so I'm not going to use it. But it's very important to make sure that you are massaging your hair, because that is what generates life. As a matter of fact, part of me healing my hip is coming from the fact that I'm using a massager on my hip, and I'm also pushing past the pain and stretching to increase the level of flexibility so that my hip joint can get, and the tissue surrounding it can get more circulation and more blood. That's what you're doing when you're massaging your scalp, okay? You are loving on it and you're stimulating it the same way you wouldn't put your baby in the crib and just leave them in the crib. Especially if they're crying, depending upon your mothering philosophy, you've got to put a little bit of, got to put your back into it, So you have to massage it. But again, to go back to the previous point, you have to check to see if there's any signs of life. Okay, I suggest you do this. If you have not started using something that is supposed to help your hair grow, I suggest you do that in the beginning so that you can see what the level of loss is. The other thing I suggest as an addition, as an additive to that, is to take pictures. A lot of times we can't see hair growth with the naked eye. We need to be able to use our phone cameras and zoom in and take a look at what's happening in that area. Even sometimes you can't see the degree of hair loss, let alone hair growth. So it's important once you start using something, and as you begin to use it for 2, 3, 4 months, to take a look at a before and after so that you can really ascertain, is something helping me? And if so, to what degree? Do I need to add something else to this regimen? Am I doing some other things that can help? Never take a one-dimensional approach. You must approach this from multiple different avenues, okay? You must, because that's going to give you the greatest advantage. All right, so be very, very mindful of that. Number 7, stress. Stress is the first thing that's going to pull your hair out like this, and the same will dramatic weight loss. If you had COVID, for example, and you lost a lot of weight, you can expect some hair loss. If you had COVID and you didn't lose a lot of weight, you can likely expect some hair loss. Some people are experiencing a lot of hair loss after having had COVID, and it's not necessarily explained. But in general, if you say, for example, you know, when women are not getting the proper nutrients because they're dealing with eating disorders, you're susceptible to losing hair. Dramatic weight loss. I remember at one time I was losing a lot of hair before my locks because I did the Atkins diet and I lost like 30 pounds. And even though it wasn't what I considered sudden, and it took me a few months, I still experienced some hair loss. Same thing happens when you're pregnant. But some of those things we can control. Some of them, to the extent to which we can control them is debatable. But what you can control are your levels of stress. Okay? Happy life, happy hair. If you're stressed out, your hair is going to be stressed out, you're going to be dehydrated, and you're putting an extra toxic load on your system that you don't need. Watch stress. It's one of those things, again, that we ignore because we always want a quick fix. We want to be able to pop a pill or put something in our hair to fix our troubles, and we don't want to deal with the long-term issues that are destroying our health from the inside out. So you want to watch that. The other thing, as I mentioned, look around at the women in your family. Check in with your mother. Did she deal with hair loss issues? Check in with the other people around you, that your sisters, your siblings, not your brothers. They deal with male pattern hair loss. That's a little bit different. That's another video. But I wouldn't look to that. I would look to the women in your family. This will help you to really, really, beyond much doubt, give or take some other things that can be mitigating factors. It will help you to narrow down, is this a result of my loctician? Are my retightnings too tight? Am I a slave to the grid that I need to have the part so straight and it looking such a certain way that my hair is being pulled? Am I in pain when I leave the retightenings? You know, unnecessarily tight. I have a headache. I got to pop some pills. Is my loctician a little bit too heavy-handed? Am I hearing my hair pop? Like, can you eliminate genetics as a thing and begin to look at environmental causes of your hair loss? This is very important. And the first environmental cause you want to look at, in addition to some of the stuff that we talked about, number one is your loctician and the way that she's caring for your hair, the way that she's doing your retightnings, okay? If you have to give up a rotation to generate some growth, you need to. This is bringing me to my next point, okay? Consider another loctician altogether. Sometimes you need to consider somebody else altogether, okay? Do your research. Sometimes it's because you're having a problem with your loctician. Other times it's because you need to see what else is out there, okay? And you may need to give someone else a chance and put your hair in somebody else's hands if you're not seeing a progress, or if you're watching your hair story get worse and worse and worse. And your hair narrative is not one where your hair is improving and you've been complaining to your loctician consultant for a while and she's telling you something that doesn't quite make sense, so she's not able to give you something tangible, or she's not saying anything about your retightnings, and you're losing your hair and she has yet to bring up anything about your retightening, whether it's, I think you need to come in more, I think you need to come in less, or I think when you come in we just need to do this part, we need to let that part rest. Whatever it is. All right. Lastly, last but not least, I have two other things I want to say that are important. I think I'm going to overlap an additional point in here. For number 9, consider a trim. Okay. Sometimes you literally have to lighten the load. It's better to consider a trim. I would consider a trim before I would consider cutting my locks. Okay. Depending upon what was happening and how pervasive it was, I would probably consider any other fix before cutting my locks off or taking them out. I would rather cut up before I would cut them all out. A lot of you who have contacted me have already cut your locks, or your loctician or someone else has you thinking that maybe you need to cut your locks or you're ready to cut your losses. Depending upon how severe and pervasive the situation is, I would make cutting my locks off and giving up the journey a last resort. Now, the main advantage to that, if you end up doing that, is now you can really see if you're putting something else on your scalp, is my hair still growing? But if your hair is still growing and you have established, as I said before, let's say you are using the magical hair growth serum or just our regular oil, which is what generates a lot faster growth. This is your faster hair growth. That's when you're really losing hair. Okay, some of you are using both. But let's say you're using this and you're noticing your hair filling in. Well, your hair is filling in, your hair is growing, your hair is regenerating, right? So why give up? Continue doing some of the things that you're doing on your hair that are working, but alleviate and eliminate some of the things that are putting a greater strain on your hair. In the interim, consider, like I said, trimming it. All right, I would do that before I cut them all off. Knowing me, I would probably be willing to put a wig on or something while I experimented with my hair to see what the issue was before I cut it off. If you do cut it off, save these. If you cut your hair off, this is your hair, okay? You grew it, save it, because you can easily combine it. You can easily get your locks again once your hair starts to grow back, and you can easily take those pieces like you saw me do somewhere over in here. This one is retarded. I did it in 10 minutes. I never went back to straighten it out. I added some Afro kinky hair right here, and then I added one of my locks here because my hair is growing and I wanted to keep this little edge here. Instead of just letting it be loose, I said, well, if this is growing, and you see it is grown, but it grows slower than everywhere else, all right? But because it's growing, I wanted to hold on to it. So I added a piece of one of my own locks. I just took it right off the back. It was worth me cutting one of these locks back here, taking the bottom off this to put it up here. I would consider doing that before anything else, especially if my hair is still growing. Use your own hair, redo your Sisterlocks when you can, and your hair is at a certain length, and then add your own hair back, okay? And then you won't feel so bad, okay? Love on the locks, love on them even when you lose them, keep the hair. Number 10, the other thing that I suggested is to cut a particular area that can be hidden as an intervention prior to cutting them off. I kind of already said that. If the hair can grow back in that area, then your hair is still growing. Here's an example. You've seen sisters with locks who may have shaved hair here and have a funky style where they pull all the other hair over like this, right? But they may have a shaved, tapered look here. Before I took out all of my locks, I would shave my hair in one area and I would see what happened when it was time to stimulate growth. I would use something that was growth producing, growth enhancing, growth stimulating, growth supported on my hair. And if my hair still grows, then I know I'm in great shape. There's a video on this channel where lovely Sheila and a couple other sisters, I use their images. It's called Thinning and Balding Because of Sisterlocks or something like that. And you see their hair on the thumbnail, and you can see from whence they came. They had head full of locks, and then they began to use locks. Well, one of those sisters ended up losing almost all of hers. She had locks sparsely located, okay? That's how I met her. She purchased some of the products. She did some other things. I think she ended up going to another loctician because she was with this loctician consultant for about 10 years, but she's reestablishing her locks and her hair is growing back. So that's an example of her hair is still growing. This is not genetic. She didn't lose her hair due to the kind of alopecia where it doesn't grow back. Her hair is still growing. It regenerated, which means that this had to do with a multitude of other things related to maybe the loctician, related to maybe color, related to a litany of other things, but it was not genetic because her hair is still growing. So that's what I want to know. I want to know, is this genetic? Or is this something that's environmental? Is this something that I'm inflicting upon myself? Or is this something that my loctician is inflicting upon myself? To what extent can I participate in my own rescue? And to what extent can I do some things that are going to help me? So section off a section of your hair. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's not in a funky style and you just take a section over here and take all the locks out of that section and begin to do some breakdown maintenance, some preventive maintenance. Start putting something in your hair daily. Start massaging your hair. Start visualizing hair growth. The mind is a powerful thing, y'all. It's very, very powerful. Do not underestimate the ability to use healing energy. Thoughts become things. Never forget that. What we focus on expands. Never forget the ability. That's what's happened with my hip, okay? That's what's happened with my hip. And this has been a problem, y'all, for a long time. And once I started embracing the idea of having surgery, things just got worse and worse and worse. Once I leaned into the pain and stretched past the pain so much that it hurt, that I got onto the other side of it and I started believing in my own rescue mission, it started to improve. And I gotta tell you, from whence I've come, after I wore my body out after moving and I overdid it and I fell over the fence and all that other stuff, I'm way better off. So what I'm telling you is never give up. Never give up on the body's ability to regenerate. People can be on their deathbed and have cancer. And the body's ability to manifest a healing intervention is profound. Your body can always regenerate new hair. I wouldn't even let someone tell me that it's not possible. This is a crown chakra issue as well. I need to send a prefabricated message. Excuse me for the intervention. But the point that I'm making is section off a part of your hair that you can observe, all right, with locks that you can pay attention to and know what's what. And know that this is, these are the 3 that I'm working on. And so as they begin to change and you begin to notice different things, then you will start to know what is working. Take a look at all of those other things that I said very seriously in terms of considering some of the other factors that can come into play, and devise a plan for your hair that does not involve you giving up, because I will stand by this. If your hair can grow when you take these locks out, then the style itself is contributing to some of the problem. And if the style itself is contributing to some of the problem, then we need to try to alleviate some of those risk factors to the extent that we can. And although everyone's hair is different, there are just some basic things that we know hair likes, and there's some basic things that we know hair does not like. And hair likes a clean environment. Hair does not like to be pulled on. Hair does not like to be traumatized. Hair does not like to be dyed. And y'all know I have dyed my hair, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times with the regular permanent dye. And then I started using rinses. Now I'm in an energy of hoping I can last and not doing any rinses or any color and just leave my hair alone maybe for a year or 2. I'm going to try. If I'm not very successful, then I will put a rinse in, but I'm really trying hard not to do the color auburn, a permanent color. But I think I need to tend to my hair care needs. I don't want to complicate my situation. I've been riding free up to this point, and I guess I just have to deal with what is left of some of the permanent dye. But we know that hair doesn't like dye. We know that a lot of our hair doesn't like being dry. So if you haven't been using anything on your hair and it looks dry, it feels dry, you got flaky scalp, you need to put something on your hair. You're with Tanisha Ali of Tanisha's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri. I'm sending out much love to you. Thank you all, my kindred spirits, my family, those of you who reach out to me, those of you who are placing orders and leaving reviews on the site. Many of you are getting the oils and you're getting multiple orders over time, but you're not leaving a review. Please go back and leave a review so that you can help others. And also, if you're dealing with any kind of body pain and you need a quick fix, see the Ouch Magic. It is very good whether you're dealing with back pain, neck pain. I'm going to see if I can find, yep. As a matter of fact, this wasn't a part of the plan, but I want to share with you something that, wow, it may not even be in here. I'm going to see something that Carol, who is a lady who, well, one of the people that I purchased a home for, she texted me yesterday out of nowhere, and this is what she said. Good afternoon, Tanisha. I just wanted, this is a white lady, an older white lady. She's in her 70s. She was using this for her knees. My mother used it for her knees. I use it on the part of my tissue that sometimes would flare up around my hip joint that was kind of in the growing area or down my leg. But this is what she said. I just wanted to tell you that your Ouch serum works so fast. Now, she had already sent me a previous text about that serum. We worked most of the day yesterday in the garage going through heavy bins and sorting out for trash and Goodwill. Then today, I attacked bins of paperwork. My neck was killing me when I stopped less than 20 minutes ago. I bathed my neck in Ouch serum and got quick relief. Going to take a break before I go back out. So it's quick relief. It's temporary relief, but it's quick relief. And who knows what the long-term effects of massaging get in. At first, I used to just roll it on me. Then after repeated pain, I started massaging it in. Okay, it's got a lot of stuff that's anti-inflammatory. It's got a lot of stuff that's sort of analgesic. And it's got some reparative essential oils in it in a very light blend. It comes in a roller bottle. So it's called Ouch Magic, and you can see it on the site if you're interested in checking it out. Much love to y'all. I'm wishing you peace, productivity, and prosperity. Continue to enjoy this beautiful year. Energize your life. And if you're not a member of Butterfly Transformations or subscriber of that other channel, go there, check out the latest video on how to live life passionately, and see if you want to become a subscriber. I love you. Thanks again, ladies.